Prologue. Breaking the chains, humanity's journey to the stars did not begin with exploration or ambition. It began with rebellion. For centuries, the unified Confederation of Earth and Colonies, UCEC, had maintained an iron grip over humanity's interstellar expansion. The Confederation, initially founded to bring order to Earth's fractured nations and colonies, had devolved into a bloated and oppressive regime. Overregulated, overtaxed, and unwilling to adapt, it stifled innovation and crushed the spirit of independence that had once defined humanity's drive to explore the cosmos. The outer colonies bore the brunt of this tyranny. Frontier settlers, already struggling to survive on resource-scarce worlds, were subjected to relentless taxation and bureaucratic overreach. Revolutionary technologies were outlawed for fear of destabilizing the Confederation's control, and dissenters were silenced under the guise of maintaining order. Meanwhile, the wealthy inner worlds thrived, hoarding the fruits of progress and leaving the colonies to stagnate. Discontent simmered for decades until it finally ignited into the Exodus Revolt. This uprising was not a coordinated war, but a mass exodus of those unwilling to live under the Confederation's thumb. Idealists, engineers, dreamers, and outcasts banded together, pooling resources to retrofit aging freighters and decommissioned military vessels into a makeshift fleet. They left behind cities, families, and centuries of cultural heritage, trading the known for the promise of freedom among the stars. This fleet, christened the Ark of Renewal, became humanity's last hope for a new beginning. It carried a legacy, both humanity's resilience and its flaws. The refugees who formed its ranks were united by a shared dream of liberty, but the challenges ahead were immense. Resources were scarce, morale was fragile, and the vastness of space offered no guarantees. Yet, against all odds, the Ark persevered, driven by the belief that somewhere in the galaxy, a new home awaited them. Part 1. The discovery of the Eidolon. Archive. After generations of wandering, the Ark's people had evolved into a nomadic culture, bound by shared hardship and ingenuity. Each ship in the fleet had become a self-contained ecosystem, its inhabitants living by strict resource management and communal cooperation. Over time, some ships broke off to explore different regions of space, driven by the hope of finding habitable worlds or valuable resources. Despite their separation, these splinter groups maintained contact through long-range communication relays, sharing discoveries and warnings across the void. As desperation deepened, one splinter fleet came upon a miraculous discovery. Hidden in the wreckage of a shattered Dyson sphere in a remote and uncharted sector of the galaxy lay the Eidolon Archive. This colossal alien structure, glittering with crystalline spires, seemed untouched by time. It was a repository of unimaginable knowledge left behind by an ancient civilization long extinct. The discovery sent shockwaves through the separated fleets. Scattered ships, which had ventured into different regions of space over the decades, reconnected through long-range communications. Upon learning of the Archive's existence, they began regrouping as quickly as possible, their separation bridged by the shared promise of salvation. These reunions were bittersweet, with stories of hardship and survival exchanged as the fleet consolidated into a unified whole once more. The Archive's architecture was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Spires of iridescent crystal pierced the darkness, pulsating with faint energy. Encoded within these crystalline structures were vast libraries of data, advanced technologies, historical records, and insights into the very fabric of the universe. At first, the Archive's secrets were beyond human comprehension. Its alien language and interface defied translation. Its systems protected by layers of encryption more advanced than anything the Ark's engineers had ever seen. The Ark Council, recognizing the Archive's potential, mobilized the fleet's brightest minds. Teams of linguists, cryptographers, and engineers worked tirelessly to decipher its mysteries, their efforts fueled by equal parts desperation and hope. The fleet's advanced AI systems were integrated into the Archive's computer network, accelerating translation and decryption. These AI, designed for adaptive problem-solving, unraveled complex alien algorithms at unprecedented speeds, allowing the team to make progress in a few years rather than decades. Progress was slow, but each breakthrough transformed the fleet's prospects. Agricultural advancements. The archive revealed revolutionary methods for hydroponic farming, enabling the fleet to vastly expand its food production. Hunger, a constant specter for generations, was finally vanquished. Energy solutions. The discovery of zero-point energy generators provided an infinite power source, freeing the fleet from its dependence on deteriorating fusion reactors and securing its survival for centuries to come. Medical breakthroughs. Alien. Biochemistry offered cures to diseases that had ravaged the fleet's population. Life expectancy soared, and the overall health of the Ark's people improved dramatically. The archive's influence extended beyond mere survival. For the first time in generations, the Ark's people began to dream of something greater. The promise of rebuilding civilization became tangible, fueled by the knowledge of a civilization that had once reached for the stars. Yet, the archive also carried warnings, tales of hubris and ruin. Civilizations as advanced as the Eidolons had risen to greatness, only to fall under the weight of their ambition. These warnings haunted the Council, raising an urgent question: could humanity rise anew without repeating the mistakes of those who came before? The fleet, dubbed the Ark of Renewal, carried with it humanity's greatest strengths and deepest flaws. These refugees were united by a vision of freedom, but their journey was fraught with challenges. Resources were scarce, morale was fragile, and the vastness of space offered no guarantees. Yet they endured, driven by the hope that somewhere among the stars lay a new beginning. Part 2. Rebuilding a Golden Age. The knowledge gleaned from the archive transformed life aboard the Ark. What had once been a tenuous struggle for survival became an era of unprecedented innovation and growth. Humanity began to reclaim its lost potential, building a new civilization that blended its own ingenuity with the wisdom of the Eidolon creators. Cultural renewal as resources stabilized, the people of the fleet turned their attention to arts, philosophy, and identity. New art forms emerged, inspired by the alien aesthetics found in the archive. Music, composed with AI-assisted harmonics, evoked emotions beyond human comprehension. Literature flourished, with epics chronicling humanity's journey and poetic explorations of alien philosophies. The Eidolon archive also inspired new cultural practices. Communal storytelling events became central to fleet life, blending traditional Earth narratives with alien mythologies decoded from the archive. Visual arts transformed as sculptors and painters incorporated alien materials and techniques, creating works that seemed alive. These shared experiences unified the fleet's scattered generations, forging a collective identity that embraced both their terrestrial roots and their cosmic aspirations. Governance and unity. The Ark Council, which had previously been a centralized but fractured governing body, underwent a dramatic evolution. Ethical philosophies recovered from the archive, alongside humanity's own historical lessons, shaped a new governance model. The Council became a federation of ships with equal representation for all fleet communities. Decisions were made collaboratively, with an emphasis on transparency and inclusivity. Rivalries that had long simmered between the fleet's ships gave way to a shared sense of purpose. Inter-ship marriages became commonplace, further intertwining the fates of the fleet's populations. This newfound unity allowed the fleet to act decisively, pooling their resources and knowledge to face the challenges of survival and growth. Technological mastery. The Ark's engineers and scientists, working closely with AI systems inspired by the archive, began to achieve technological feats once thought impossible. Zero-point energy generators provided limitless power, allowing the construction of new vessels equipped with advanced shielding and propulsion systems. Terraforming technologies, adapted from Eidolon methods, enabled the fleet to transform barren moons and planets into habitable worlds. The fleet also built the Eidolon Ascendants, a series of multi-purpose vessels designed for deep space exploration and resource harvesting. These ships extended the fleet's reach, allowing humanity to establish outposts in distant star systems. AI-driven automation streamlined these efforts, freeing the fleet's population to focus on cultural and intellectual pursuits. Yet, even as humanity flourished, the warnings embedded in the Archive's histories loomed large. The stories of the Eidolon's collapse served as a stark reminder that unchecked ambition and division could undo even the greatest achievements. Part 3. The Challenge of the Eidolon. Legacy as humanity's renewal reached its peak. The Archive revealed a sobering truth. The Eidolon creators had been destroyed by their own ambition. Their golden age had given way to decadence, infighting, and the reckless use of advanced technologies. These warnings, embedded within the Archive's histories, painted a vivid picture of a civilization undone by hubris and division. The stories struck a deep chord within the fleet. The Ark Council, reflecting on humanity's own fractured past, saw parallels between the Eidolon's collapse and the schism that had driven their ancestors to break away from the unified Confederation. These lessons reignited a long-dormant question. What had become of the humanity they had left behind? In an unprecedented decision, the Ark Council voted to establish contact with the Confederation. The fleet's historians and diplomats began reaching out across the galaxy, using advanced communication technologies derived from the Archive to locate the descendants of the civilization they had abandoned. This initiative, known as the Reconnection Project, aimed to reunite humanity and share the hard-won lessons of the Ark's journey. As the fleet prepared for this monumental task, its leaders emphasized the importance of humility and cooperation. The Eidolon histories became a cornerstone of the fleet's philosophy, serving as a cautionary tale of what could happen if humanity allowed its divisions or unchecked ambition to take root once more. The Ark of Renewal was no longer just a symbol of survival. It was a bridge to a broader human future. The Ark Council recognized that the lessons of the Eidolon collapse were not just warnings, but an opportunity for self-reflection. The fleet began an era of deep introspection, reviewing its governance and ensuring transparency and cooperation were paramount. The decision to reconnect with the unified Confederation, once seen as an impossible dream, became a defining mission. This effort symbolized humanity's commitment to unity and its determination to share the knowledge gained through hardship to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Part 4. Open conflict. The Ark of Renewal's Reconnection Project was a monumental endeavor. Advanced communication relays reached out across the galaxy, broadcasting carefully crafted messages of peace and unity. The Ark Council believed that the Confederation, despite its rigid structures, would recognize the value of reuniting with its long-lost kin. But the reality was far more complex. When the Confederation received the Ark's transmissions, their response was swift and brutal. Decades of propaganda had painted the Exodus Revolt as an act of betrayal, and the Confederation's leadership, deeply entrenched in its corruption, viewed the Ark as an existential threat. Military fleets were dispatched with orders to intercept and destroy the nomadic fleet. The first skirmishes erupted near the border systems. The Confederation's admirals, under orders from bureaucratic overlords, unleashed overwhelming firepower against the Ark, but the nomadic fleet, armed with advanced technologies derived from the Eidolon Archive, fought back with ingenuity. Cloaking devices and adaptive shielding allowed the Ark to evade the worst of the attacks, while their zero-point energy weapons outmatched the Confederation's aging armaments. Within the Confederation itself, rebellion began to take root. The Ark's broadcasts not only inspired disillusioned citizens, but also provided strategic guidance and advanced technologies to dissident factions. These rebels, equipped with the Ark's weaponry and tactical expertise, launched a coordinated uprising against the Confederation's corrupt leadership. Mutinies erupted within military ranks as officers, frustrated by decades of stagnation and mismanagement, turned against their superiors. Entire fleets defected to the rebel cause, creating chaos across the Confederation's systems. In a decisive strike, rebel forces, supported by the ARC's covert operatives, stormed the Confederation's central command on the core world of Aurelia Prime. The operation, codenamed Dawnfall, saw key bureaucratic leaders arrested and stripped of power. The Confederation's oligarchs, long insulated by their wealth and influence, were brought to justice in a series of public trials that exposed the depth of their corruption. With the old regime dismantled, the rebels established a provisional government committed to reform and reconciliation. Part 5. Toward a Fragile Unity. With the Confederation's corrupt leadership overthrown by the coordinated efforts of rebels and the ARC, the aftermath of the coup presented a delicate situation. The provisional government, formed by leaders of the rebellion, sought to stabilize the fractured Confederation while addressing the grievances of its citizens. The ARC Council, wary of being drawn too deeply into Confederation politics, offered their assistance as advisors and collaborators. The Rebuilding Summit. The summit on Alethea Prime became the first major test of the fragile new order. Delegates from the ARC, the Provisional Government, and the Outer Colonies met to discuss the terms of unification and cooperation. The ARC Council emphasized the importance of maintaining their autonomy while aiding in the Confederation's reconstruction. The Provisional Government, eager to gain legitimacy, agreed to concessions that ensured the ARC's independence. The highlight of the summit was the ARC's demonstration of their terraforming technology. Before the gathered leaders, the ARC's engineers transformed a desolate expanse of Alethea Prime into a verdant oasis within hours. This act symbolized the transformative potential of their collaboration and served as a unifying moment for the once fractured human factions. The summit concluded with the signing of the Reunification Accord, which formalized the ARC's status as an independent coalition within the Confederation's new structure. The accord also established the Council of Renewal, a governing body that would oversee technological integration, humanitarian efforts, and the creation of equitable policies to prevent the abuses of the past. A fragile alliance, the Provisional Government faced significant challenges in the months following the summit. Resistance from hardliners who had survived the coup threatened to destabilize the fragile alliance. The ARC played a crucial role in mediating disputes and providing technological solutions to rebuild shattered colonies and infrastructures. The Outer Colonies, long neglected by the Confederation, began to thrive under the shared advancements brought by the ARC. This act of renewal underscored the potential of collaboration and inspired a spirit of compromise among the delegates, the Reunification Accord. The summit concluded with the signing of the Reunification Accord, a landmark agreement that redefined humanity's future. The ARC was formally recognized as an autonomous entity within a reformed confederation, ensuring its independence while fostering collaboration. In return, the ARC pledged to share its technological advancements to help rebuild and modernize the Confederation. The Accord also established the Council of Renewal, a governing body composed of representatives from the ARC, the Confederation's Provisional Government, and the Outer Colonies. This council was tasked with overseeing humanitarian efforts, technological integration, and the creation of equitable policies to prevent the abuses of the past. Epilogue: a unified future. The Reconnection Project not only bridged the divide between the ARC and the Confederation, but also ushered in a new era of cooperation and prosperity. The ARC's advancements in energy, medicine, and terraforming transformed the Outer Colonies, bringing stability and growth to regions long neglected by the core worlds. The Confederation's newly reformed government, inspired by the ARC's emphasis on transparency and innovation, implemented sweeping changes that dismantled old hierarchies and empowered local communities. The scars of the conflict became symbols of resilience. Former adversaries worked together to rebuild devastated colonies, creating cities that blended the architectural styles and cultural traditions of both the ARC and the Confederation. The TV, Lessons of the Eidolon Archive, remained central to this renaissance, reminding humanity of the dangers of hubris and the importance of unity. The Council of Renewal, now a cornerstone of galactic governance, facilitated unprecedented collaboration between the Ark's nomadic explorers and the Confederation's settlers. Together, they expanded humanity's reach, establishing new colonies and exploring uncharted star systems. The Ark's ships, once symbols of rebellion, became emissaries of hope, spreading knowledge and resources to every corner of human space. As the people of the Ark and the Confederation came to see themselves as one humanity, their gaze turned outward. With the strength of unity and the wisdom of their shared history, they were ready to face the challenges of the cosmos, confident that their greatest achievements still lay ahead.